the risks of getting rid of Missouri's income tax.
We need to have a high degree of confidence that our math on what that replacement's going to generate is correct, because if we make a mistake, we can't go fix that.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest on the Hancock Amendment.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Scott Jagow. Police have arrested a man for smashing windows on North Grand, including those at the Fox Theater. That story ahead.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. Plenty of sunshine today with a high of 53.
Illinois beats Iowa, and we're taking a look at what happened in the NFL playoffs yesterday, as well as the U.S. Figure Skating Championships here in St. Louis. Busy sports weekend. It's coming up at 6:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
Is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin at the Federal Reserve, where Chairman Jerome Powell says the Justice Department has launched an investigation into whether he lied about the central bank's renovation project at its headquarters in Washington. Powell believes it's about political retribution.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Powell says he has no intention of resigning before his term ends in May. Tens of thousands of people have begun another day of demonstrations in Iran, where activists say hundreds have been killed. President Trump's threatened military strikes.
I'm Vicki Barker at the Foreign Desk. With near nightly protests and accompanying death toll mounting in Iran.
Iran wants to negotiate. A meeting is being set up.
But President Trump warns U.S. action might come before any such meeting can take place, ratcheting up the pressure on Tehran.
Tension still high over immigration operations in the Twin Cities. CBS's Nicole Skanga from St. Paul.
Rage on the streets of Minneapolis, where protesters and ICE agents are still facing off days after the fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Organizers say more than 1,000 anti-ICE demonstrations were planned nationwide this weekend. Demonstrators are demanding justice for Good and protesting the Trump administration's surge of immigration agents.
Homeland Security Secretary Noem says she's sending in hundreds more. Thousands of nurses have gone on strike at New York City hospitals this morning.
Are the nurses in the house? Is the union in the house?
CBS's Christina Fan is outside Mount Sinai West in Manhattan.
This is obviously a huge number of nurses, prompting New York Governor Kathy Hochul to declare a state of emergency, worried this strike could jeopardize the lives of thousands of patients.
The union wants guaranteed minimum staffing ratios, higher wages, and more security. Guard off shootings. At last night's Golden Globe Awards on CBS, correspondent Bradley Blackburn.
The film, one battle after another, won Best Picture, Comedy or Musical, Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson, and Best Supporting Actress for Tiana Taylor. Hamnet won Best Picture Drama and Best Actress for Jessie Buckley.
Timothée Chalamet won his first Globe for Marty Supreme. Best Animated Movie went to K-pop Demon Hunters. Director Maggie Kang.
We really wanted to depict female characters the way that we know women, which is really strong and bold.
Dow futures are down 367. S&P futures off 43. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to the official 48 Hours After Show post-mortem on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got clear skies, 27 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. St. Louis police have arrested a man for a spree of break-ins on North Grand.
It appears the window smashing happened early Saturday morning. At least 6 businesses were hit, including the fabulous Fox Theater. Lily Clark, owner of Boca Boba, tells Fox 2.
It looked just like someone had thrown like a brick or a rock through the window. We took a walk down the street and all the other businesses, their windows were broken completely. So it was like you could step from the street inside their places of business, which I'm sure is terrifying to walk into.
The suspect was arrested at the Fox. He's identified as 49-year-old DeJuan Ferguson. Police say he used his fist to smash windows and at one point threw a trash can through the glass at the theater. Ferguson's been charged with 6 counts of first-degree property damage. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
An update on Sunday afternoon shooting death in South St. Louis. City police say one person has been detained for questioning after a man was found dead in the 4200 block of Michigan. Homicide detectives would like to speak with anyone who might know what led up to that shooting.
Is a plan to axe Missouri's state income tax going to be a part of Governor Kehoe's State of the State address tomorrow?
If it is, fellow Republicans, State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick tells KMOX the numbers have to add up. He warns that if Missouri swaps its income tax for perhaps a higher sales tax, geography might hurt revenue from the Kansas City and St. Louis metro areas, though one more than the other.
I think that there's a bigger risk of that on the Kansas side than there is on the Illinois side, just because of the logistics of crossing the border in Kansas City are much easier. I mean, you can cross the state line and not know you've crossed it, whereas on the St. Louis side, you've got to cross the Mississippi River.
Fitzpatrick also notes that many parts of the state already live in a double-digit sales tax world because of countless special taxing districts. He says raising that rate further requires careful analysis. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
In the aftermath of a pipe bursting at Jennings High School last month, the Jennings School District leaders say more time is needed to complete repairs. The return to in-person classes will not happen today, after all. Instead, will be delayed until after the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is next Monday.
The new schedule will have students observing an alternating A-B hybrid schedule starting on Tuesday the 20th. The principal says students will continue virtual learning today, followed by the new A-B schedule.
Pregnant women in Missouri can file for divorce, but state law bars final judgment until after they're no longer pregnant.
State Senator Maggie Nuremberg of Clay County is again sponsoring the legislation to get rid of that barrier. She tells MissouriNet,
we're going back to situations that are just incredibly harrowing. I cannot imagine that what a woman experienced who's living in a domestic violence situation. And again, these women are just trying to do the best for themselves and for their kids, for their future children.
Last year's bill was sponsored in the Missouri House by Republican Cecily Williams. It passed the House during the first half of the 2025 session, but died in the Senate. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
There's been a great loss to the jazz music community. Guitarist Rick Hayden passed away Sunday. Hayden was a professor of music at SIUE, where he served as director of jazz studies and head of the guitar program. Professor Hayden received the 2004 Woody Herman Award from the Birch Creek Music Performance Center in Door County, Wisconsin. He was well known in the St. Louis area music circles.
People today will say their goodbyes to former downtown St. Louis businessman with a flair for making guests feel like they mattered. Gus Torregrossa of Gus's Fashion and Shoes died January 2nd at the age of 82.
During the 1980s and 90s, Torregrossa's store attracted big-name athletes, musicians, and others. It became a cultural hub of downtown. Visitation is this morning from 9:30 until a funeral at 10:30. The location is Shepherd Funeral Chapel on Natural Bridge.
The business desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Another restaurant closing its doors. This time it's Session Taco in Kirkwood. Owners Adam and Jason Tilford in their social media post said the support of the community has meant everything to them, but that 2025 was a challenging year for them and many local businesses.
The Kirkwood location opened during the pandemic 5 years ago. Last year, the Tilfords closed their Town and Country location. There are still 3 Session Taco locations in the area, St. Charles, Soulard, and the Del Mar Loop, and there is one in Kansas City.
It is 6:08. We're going to take a look at the forecast coming up next and the roadways as well. The forecast is kind of all over the place, so we'll get a little bit of everything. Details on the way.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Running a small business is a daily balancing act. One late shipment, one price hike, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LendSeek comes in.
I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demands. LendSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between their AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process, it couldn't have been easier.
Our AI-driven platform matches your business with the right program from over 100 funders, up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours. Don't wait until it's too late. If you've been in business at least 2 years with more than $500,000 in annual revenue, qualifying is simple. No collateral, no out-of-pocket costs, no hassle. From lines of credit, term loans to revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply in minutes at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, it's 6:10. Roger Brand, what do you see in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, right now, not much, Tom. The highways are good shape. We've had a couple of stalls, eastbound 64 near Big Bend, eastbound 70 at 64 on the Wentzville area. They cleared both of them very quickly. Maffett and North Vanderbilt, I think it was a report of a building fire within the last few minutes, a vacant building fire, but maybe some activity on the north side of the city because of that. A little heads up about road work. I don't know how much of an impact this will have. We'll sort of keep tabs on it, but they're starting a project. I think it's Spire. It's a gas main replacement project that's starting this morning in downtown Clayton. It's going to be northbound Brentwood Boulevard between Clayton Road and Davis Place, which is several streets up. It's not quite all the way up to the Parkway, but that stretch north of Clayton Road, they're going to have restrictions on northbound Brentwood Boulevard from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, most folks getting into work in downtown Clayton will probably be there by 9 and they'll be wrapped up by 4, and it's not going to be on the southbound side as folks at home. So I don't know how much of an impact it'll make, but they're going to begin today. And it'll be today, every day, it looks like, even on the weekends for the next 8 to 10 weeks. So just be prepared for that. Again, that begins this morning at 9 a.m. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A nice day today with plenty of sunshine. We'll have a high of 53, then clear to partly cloudy, low 40 tonight. Tomorrow we end up with more clouds than sun. It'll be breezy and warm with a high of 61 degrees. A spotty shower for tomorrow night will give way to clouds and a chilly breeze on Wednesday. Temperatures fall into and through the 30s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got clear skies. It's 27 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12. Sunday marked another day of protests against ICE in St. Louis. Hundreds marched in Clayton, chanting "No justice, no peace," and holding letters spelling out Renee Nicole Good, the woman killed in Minneapolis.
Protesters are calling for the abolishment of ICE, claiming there's a lack of due process and unchecked power. Traffic in Clayton had to be rerouted for about an hour while protesters marched from Shaw Park toward the St. Louis County government and court buildings.
As protests grow around the country, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is telling protesters keep the violence out of them.
Pritzker says DHS Secretary Christine Noem and her assistant secretary have put out statements saying the ICE shootings are justified before there's any investigation. It's happened twice in Chicago back in the fall.
And we found out what really happened in both those situations. And that is why we know that ICE was at fault and why no charges have been brought against, for example, the woman who was shot 5 times, who they claimed was a domestic terrorist back then.
Governor Pritzker tells CNN ICE and CBP, that's Customs and Border Patrol, are breaking their own protocols by what he says roughing up citizens and in some cases killing them when they are U.S. citizens and have done nothing wrong. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The House has passed a bill to reauthorize health care subsidies. KMOX asked, what happens now?
U.S. Congressman Wesley Bell and other House Democrats are celebrating the passage of a bill reauthorizing the Affordable Care Act subsidies and preventing premium costs from rising. However, the bill faces an uphill battle in the Senate, and Bell acknowledges even after that, there's no telling if President Donald Trump would veto the bill.
Obviously, he doesn't take my counsel on such things. Obviously, if he did, I would recommend that he does not do that because we're supposed to be here for the American voters.
Bell says without these subsidies, healthcare costs would skyrocket and only go up further as more people opt to forego health insurance. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Approaching its 100th anniversary, the birdhouse at the St. Louis Zoo is getting a makeover. Officials say the facility will close in March and remain shut down for much of 2026. Birds will be relocated temporarily to other zoos or behind-the-scenes habitats. A new heating and cooling system will be installed during renovations, as well as new skylights. We're told when the birdhouse reopens, there may be some new species added.
NFL playoffs yesterday, 3 games, and the first one went to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen led the Bills to victory with a bruising run on a quarterback sneak, went 10 yards down to the 1, and then he ran it in from a yard out to give Buffalo the lead 27-24 at Jacksonville, and they won it by that score. Held them off and won their first road playoff game in more than 3 decades. They hadn't won one on the road since 92. Josh Allen, 28 of 35 passing for 273, 2 rushing touchdowns, no turnovers. That'll work as Buffalo beats Jacksonville. Scott Jagow's a happy man. 27-24 over the Jaguars. Henry Barnes, our listener, is a happy man. After this one, the 49ers trying to beat the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles late on Westwood One.
Huge play now for San Francisco. 3rd and goal at the 4. Under 3 minutes to play. 2-point lead for the Eagles. They send Jennings wide to the right. In the slot right is Robinson. Motion man is Bourne to the left. Shotgun. Purdy takes the snap. Looking. Purdy steps up. Purdy delivers. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. McCaffrey. 49ers go in front. San Francisco with a major answer. And the crowd goes quiet here in Philadelphia. 43 seconds left. San Francisco leads at 23-19. It's a 4th and 11 at the San Francisco 21. They break the huddle. Hurts, shotgun. 2 receivers left. Barkley to his left. 2 receivers right. Brown goes in motion to the outside. Takes the snap. Hurts steps up. Hurts fires over the middle into a crowd. It's broken up. 49ers come up big. Incomplete. Kendricks gets a piece. And the Eagles turn it over on downs. San Francisco takes over, and they're 40 seconds away from a victory. The defending Super Bowl champions come up empty on 4th down.
And they lose the game. The 49ers win it 23-19, eliminating the Philadelphia Eagles. And in the late game, the Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3. First playoff win for the Patriots since their Super Bowl victory to cap the 2018 season. They'll host the winner of Monday night's game between Pittsburgh and Houston. That is this evening, as New England held the Chargers to 207 yards of offense and sacked Justin Herbert 6 times. Definitely have to pay attention to them moving forward. So here's how it's set up. The number 6 49ers will face the top-seeded Seahawks next Saturday. The number 6 seed Bills visit the number 1 seed Broncos. Then on Sunday, the 2nd seeded Bears hosting the Rams, and the Patriots hosting tonight's winner of the Texans and the Steelers. College basketball, Illinois, very good win for them. They go on the road to Iowa, always a tough place to play, Carver Hawkeye Arena, and they come out victorious. The Illini win it. Final score 75-69. Coach Brad Underwood.
Terrific win for us. Beat a very, very good Iowa team. My hat's off to Kylan. I thought he was outstanding today against a great player. Bennett's one of the best in the country. I thought our start was huge, keeping this fan base out of it. It was great to see a packed house and keeping them somewhat quiet throughout the first half was huge. I thought David Merkovich and Andrei Stojakovic were elite on the offensive side early.
And Illinois gets another key win. They're the 16th ranked team in the country. They win at number 19, Iowa. The U.S. Figure Skating Championships wrapped up at Enterprise Center with the Olympic team named. Among them, Ilya Malinin, Madison Chock, and Evan Bates, as well as Alyssa Liu. who was rejuvenated after a brief retirement. Great crowds at Enterprise over the weekend. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before KMOX became a powerhouse for news, talk, and sports, it helped shape early American entertainment through its vibrant hillbilly music era of the 1930s, 40s, and early 50s. The national champion Hillbillies, KMOX's own homegrown group, performed morning and late night shows that connected families across the Midwest. These programs captured the culture and spirit of the heartland and helped establish KMOX as a station for every listener.
From KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, Columbia's great station in the heart of the rich Mississippi Valley, we bring you Barnyard Follies with the national champion Hillbillies.
This era laid the musical foundation for the decades that followed and remains a cherished part of KMOX's early identity. The Hillbilly Music Era, a KMOX pioneer.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:21 and time for traffic and weather. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things still look great out there, Debbie. Usually Mondays aren't as busy as the rest of the week. Tuesday, we'll probably see more traffic than we do today. But right now, it looks great no matter where you're coming from out west. Wentzville Way, eastbound 64 and 70, 55 up from Festus and north of Bayless in the construction zones. Cleared a couple of stalls. They have one eastbound 64 at 270, 44 at Laclede Station. They're out of the way, and I don't see any issues or slowdowns through there. Downtown, we look good. The westbound across the Poplar and Musil Veterans Bridges. North Maffett and Vandeven are a building fire or vacant building fires. You may find some restrictions around there. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Most home projects, you're like, got this. But rewiring a hot main or putting 120 amps to an outlet, you're like, nope, not this. Smart. Calling Jerry Kelly? Smarter. Getting them to perform an electrical safety check before work's needed? That's wisdom.
JerryKelly.com.
According to AccuWeather's Heather Zaire, we're going to have a great day today. Sunshine, high 53, clear to partly cloudy, low 40 tonight. Tomorrow, breezy and warm, a high of 61 degrees with sun. Then we drop into the 30s on Wednesday after a spotty shower Tuesday night, and maybe even some snow down the road on Friday. It's going to be chilly. Thursday's high 34, Friday 42. Currently, it's 27 downtown at the Arch.
TVs across St. Louis may have tuned in to CBS last night just to hear a local who's hit the big time.
The Golden Globes, without a doubt, the most important thing that's happening in the world right now.
That's Nikki Glaser hosting the Golden Globes for the second year in a row. In her opening monologue, she didn't shy away from politics.
I cannot believe the amount of star power we have in this room tonight. It's insane. There's so many A-listers. And by A-listers, I do mean people who are on A-list that has been heavily redacted, but yes. And the Golden Globe for Best Editing goes to the Justice Department.
The Kirkwood native didn't hold back on those A-listers in the room.
Kevin Hart is here, the Rock's plus one half. Love you, Kevin. Kevin is obviously nominated for his hilarious stand-up special tonight. I love you so much, Kevin. You're so funny. And you and The Rock together are like my favorite comedy duo. such a classic comedy duo. You're like a Steve Martin and Martin Short, but for like people under 50 IQ. You know what I mean?
And Glazer didn't spare Sean Penn.
Not only such an amazing actor, but you're such a devoted humanitarian. I mean, I feel like a lot of actors talk the talk, but Sean Penn will actually go to the places in the world that need help the most, and he will do cocaine there. And I feel like we don't celebrate that enough. And Sean, I did get permission to tell that joke from your two best friends, Charlie Sheen and El Chapo. So they say hi. Blame it on them.
The night's big winners included Best TV Drama, The Pit, Best TV Comedy, The Studio, Best Motion Picture Drama, Hamnet, Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy, One Battle After Another. Paul Thomas Anderson got the Best Director for One Battle After Another. Best Performance by an Actor in a Musical or Comedy went to Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. Cinematic and Box Office Achievement went to Sinners. And the very first Podcast Award went to Good Hang with Amy Poehler. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Here is Timothée Chalamet on his win.
My dad instilled in me a spirit of gratitude growing up. Always be grateful for what you have. It's allowed me to leave this ceremony in the past empty-handed, my head held high, grateful just to be here. But I'd be lying if I didn't say those moments didn't make this moment that much sweeter.
K-pop Demon Hunters won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Movie. Director Maggie Kang thanked everyone who believed that a movie so rooted in Korean culture could resonate with a global audience.
We really wanted to depict female characters the way that we know women, which is really strong and bold, really silly and weird, and really hungry for food and sometimes a little thirsty.
Paul Thomas Anderson won the Golden Globe for Best Director in a Motion Picture. Anderson thanked the CEO of Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group.
He said he had a dream of running a studio one day, and he was going to let directors do whatever the hell they wanted. So that's how you get a Sinners. That's how you get a Weapons. That's how you get a One Battle After Another. So I really want to say thank you to him for that.
Jean Smart wins her second straight Golden Globe for Best Performance by a Female Actor in a TV Musical or Comedy for Hacks, and used the moment to speak directly to the times we're in. KNX's Natalie Tavadian has more on what she had to say backstage.
On stage at the Globe, Smart urged people to, quote, do the right thing, saying she'd already shared her rant on the red carpet, but hoped the message still resonated. Backstage, Smart told us playing Deborah Vance has taught her that growth doesn't stop with age.
We never have all the answers, no matter how old we get, and that's a good thing, but we don't need to have all the answers all the time.
She also told us backstage that while Hollywood still struggles with ageism, progress is being made, even if it's uneven.
I think a lot has changed. I mean, I would hate to think that I was the poster child for older actresses or older characters, but I'm not necessarily going to completely change anytime soon. I mean, I think it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I think we're doing okay.
Smart has won 3 Golden Globes for her role as Deborah Vance on HBO Max's Hacks, with prior wins in 2022 and 2025. Backstage at the Golden Globes in Beverly Hills, I'm Natalie Tavadian, KNX News 97.1 FM.
It's 6:27. This time check on KMOX is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
St. Louis Auto Show returns January 22nd through 25th at the America Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealer sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It is 6:30, and right now we've got clear skies. It's 27 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we have a crash in South County right now on the ramp from eastbound 255 to Lima Ferry. I think it's the Cloverleaf ramp off 255 and not the one that extends from South 270 onto Lima Ferry. But anyway, a car in the ditch there. They do have lane restrictions on that ramp right now. Police just pulled up to about 2 minutes ago to deal with that, and emergency crews were on the way as well. Seeing a little volume on the highway, starting to see a little slowdown right around McNutt on northbound 55, all lanes from Bayless up to River to Pear, a little busy. North 270, a little slow, passing 64, eastbound 64, getting a little crowded between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Still look good downtown. No delays westbound for Illinois drivers across the Poplar or Musial Veterans Bridges at this time. Next update at 6:40 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a sunny day today with a high of 53. Then tomorrow, sun and some clouds, 61 tomorrow. And then wouldn't you know it, by Wednesday, we'll be looking at temperatures falling through the 30s. Right now, it's 27 degrees.
It's 6:31. The American flag flying upside down is a sign of the nation being in distress. It's not something normally seen, but on Friday, that is what people in Ferguson saw at the post office. Veteran John Clark says vets make many sacrifices for that flag.
Not only are they disrespecting us, but they're disrespecting our families as well because of the sacrifices that they make and that we as service members make.
Our news partners at Fox 2 contacted the post office in Ferguson, but did not receive a response. However, early Friday morning, postal workers quickly lowered the flag and restored it to the correct position.
A correction to a story that aired on KMOX earlier this morning. Our obituary for Gus Torregosa incorrectly referenced the former downtown businessman as passing away. Instead, it's Gus's cousin, also named Gus, who died at the age of 82 and will be memorialized later today. We regret the error.
Lal Karansabai, president and CEO of Emerson Electric, is the new chair of the Federal Reserve Bank of the St. Louis Board. The CEO of Bunge Global, Gregory Heckman, is deputy chair. Nina Lee Kruger, president and CEO of Nestle Purina Pet Care, has been appointed to a 3-year term on the Fed's Board of Governors. The 9-member board oversees bank management.
A number of Republicans joining House Democrats in passing a bill to restore Affordable Care Act subsidies. Democratic Congressman Wesley Bell says they are seeing more Republicans support the Affordable Care Act because without the subsidies, costs go through the roof.
We're supporting it because it's the right thing to do. At the end of the day, Americans overwhelmingly are seeing healthcare costs skyrocket.
That bill now heads to the Senate.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next at 6:33.
A new season, new faces, a new direction. The road to the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals season begins at the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up, January 17th and 18th at Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village. The Cards are building for the future, and KMOX has exclusive coverage starting at 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Hear from players, alumni, and Cardinals leadership about what's ahead. Exclusive coverage of the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's going on 6:35. That means we're about 5 minutes away from checking traffic and weather, 10 minutes away from your next sports update. Lots of sports over the weekend to get to, so Tom will have that for you. In charge of keeping his eyes on the roads, it's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door, not too much to be worried about right now. This traffic reports the service of S&L Coins. If you're looking at the highways, we're getting a little more volume. There's still restrictions on the ramp. I just heard him request a tow truck for this car that went into a ditch, so it's not drivable. That's the crash eastbound 255 at the exit to Lime Ferry. Don't see any delays on 255, restrictions on the ramp, though, but it's not backing up on the highway. As far as the highways go in that area, 55, your right lanes are a little busy north of Butler Hill. Not that big a deal, but it's a little more solid from Bayless headed up through the Weber Road overpass. Then it's slow across the river to pair up through Holly Hills, really, at that point. Northbound 270, Tesson Ferry through Sappington is slow. Northbound 270 after that, approaching Clayton Road up to 64 is a little busy. Southbound 61, crossing over onto 64 through Prospect's a little slow. And I do see a slowdown south of P, midway down to Wentzville Parkway as well. So adding a little volume for folks coming out of Troy. Look okay on the downtown approaches, westbound Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges. Everything's clear there. Today we're going to start a roadwork project on Brentwood Boulevard. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., but it's supposed to be for the next 8 to 10 weeks. It's a gas main replacement project. Northbound Brentwood, north of Clayton Road up to Davis Place, which is roughly midway up to the Forest Park Parkway. So those restrictions during off-peak hours, but they are going to be out there for an extended period of time. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. President Trump says he's inclined toward excluding Exxon from his push for the American oil majors to rebuild Venezuela's energy industry. In a White House meeting with the oil industry on Friday, Exxon CEO Darren Woods described Venezuela as uninvestable. By some estimates, reviving the Venezuelan oil industry could require $100 billion and take a decade. The Trump administration dramatically escalated its attacks on the Federal Reserve. Chair Jay Powell says the central bank has been served grand jury subpoenas from the Justice Department. This is fueling concerns over central bank autonomy and setting interest rates and triggering declines in stock index futures. Dow futures are down 350 points. And Walmart will join the NASDAQ 100 index on January 20th. Walmart's addition follows its move last year to shift its stock listing from the New York Stock Exchange to the NASDAQ. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Sponsored by Eamon Ganner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Wednesday night as they face Fordham. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The Billikens haven't been ranked since the pandemic. We'll see if that comes out today, that they're in the top 25. It's been since the 2020-2021 season. It's 6:40. Back to Roger Brand, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just a little volume on the highways, Tom. It's not terrible. This traffic reports the service of S&O Coins, northbound 55, Butler Hill up to 270 is kind of slow. All lanes bogged down again at the Union Road overpass. This is kind of busy all the way up through Holly Hills, Virginia area. Working that crash eastbound 255 at the Lee May Ferry exit. That's the second Lee May Ferry exit. So that's the Cloverleaf one. A car off in the ditch there. Maybe have a lane blocked while they're waiting for a flatbed to show up to drag it out of that ditch. Northbound 270, just slow at the merge on with the 55 traffic. After that, there's heavy traffic, both sides of Gravois, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, and north of Manchester up to 64 Ladue, kind of slow there. Southbound 61 looking better, just a little busy south of P for a brief stretch, and approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, just a little bit crowded. And downtown, we're good to go. Westbound, still no delays across the Poplar or Musel Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:50 for the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It is 6:41. Let's get a look at the forecast. It's going to be another one of those weeks when you need to pay attention so you know which coat to wear as you're heading out the door in the morning. We get more details from AccuWeather's Heather Zaire.
And you are going to need pretty much any level of coat as we go through the week. 53 with lots of sunshine today. We certainly are off to a great start to the day. And then tonight, clear to partly cloudy with a low of 40. Tomorrow is even warmer. We're headed up to 61 degrees. We are going to have more clouds than sun. It'll be breezy, but that high of 61 is 20 degrees above average. We do have a front coming into the area tomorrow night that'll bring a spotty shower. It's rather cloudy, breezy, and turning colder than on Wednesday as that front moves off to the south and east of us. Temperatures fall into and through the 30s, and it stays cold with sun and some clouds and a high of 34 on Thursday. Clouds are back for Friday, and we'll have a couple of rain and snow showers. We're back to 42 degrees, so a more typical temperature for this time of year. Right now, 31 in St. Peter's. It's 30 in Florissant and downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. air on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:42. President Trump is said to be considering new military options against Iran amid a violent crackdown on anti-government protests there. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has more.
President Trump says he's weighing possible military strikes and other options against Iran, days after he warned the U.S. would get involved if Iran killed anti-government protesters.
Iran wants to negotiate. A meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting.
U.S. activists say more than 500 protesters have been killed in the violence surrounding the demonstrations.
CBS News has learned that Trump administration officials will meet with Danish officials on Wednesday to discuss the future of Greenland.
Last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Congress that President Trump is interested in purchasing the strategically located, mineral-rich Danish territory. But Trump has now repeated his threat to take it by force if any such deal falls through, saying, if we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Federal agents, protesters, and counter-protesters clash outside of ICE's Twin Cities headquarters. CBS News Minneapolis reporter Adam Duxter.
Within the group, several, like Barisa Arreso of St. Paul, who maintained they were here to demonstrate peacefully.
And it's sad because it shouldn't be like this. People are still not afraid. It's still we standing here. It's standing our ground. This is what it means to be a Minnesotan. This is what it means to be American. Helping each other.
Nearly half a dozen times over the course of the evening, federal enforcement on the scene was ready to act.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says hundreds more federal agents will arrive there in the coming days.
There's a new warning about a scheme to hack your Instagram account. We get more from CBS's Chris Mavridis.
Some really clever scammers found a way to send emails that look just like the real thing. Even the sent from address is an official Instagram domain, except when you click on the link, they got you. Instead, the experts say to check the password and security section of your account settings. If Instagram really sent you an email, the message will also show up there.
California is threatening to revoke licenses of drivers caught going over 100 miles per hour.
The new program will refer those speeders to California's Department of Motor Vehicles, which will review the incident and the driver's record. It could suspend or revoke the speeder's license even without a conviction. CHP Sergeant Daniel Keene.
It's not worth your license. It's not worth your life. Nothing is worth going 100 miles an hour.
These Californians approve of the idea.
It would be nice to just have safer roads.
It just makes perfect sense. There's no reason somebody needs to go that fast.
Last year, the CHP cited 18,000 drivers for going over 100. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
I mentioned SLU's going to try to crack the top 25 today for the first time in 5 years. Illinois ranked 16th in the country, should move up after their 75-69 win at Iowa yesterday. In Jacksonville, the Buffalo Bills
go under center. We've seen sneaks twice today by Allen. He'll line it up. He'll sneak it. He gets a push. And the push continues inside the 5. Allen all the way down to the goal line. It's a touchdown. No. It's a quarterback sneak, and Gilliam just pushed him all the way in to give Buffalo the lead. A push for 6.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down, short of the goal line.
All right, so take off the touchdown, but give the Bills the first down. It looked like the tush might have pushed down at the 2. Allen under center. Gets the snap. The push from Gilliam into the end zone. It's a Buffalo touchdown. And the Buffalo Bills come into Jacksonville and take it away from the Jaguars. 27-24. The final score. Buffalo advances in the NFL playoffs. A thriller in Jacksonville in the wild card round.
The Colin Westwood won. The Bills, a 27-24 win. They move on in the playoffs. So do the San Francisco 49ers. They advanced with a 23-19 upset win at Philadelphia against the Super Bowl champion Eagles. And last night, the Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3. With that win, they move on to the next round, and they'll play the winner of Houston and Pittsburgh. That game goes on tonight in Pittsburgh, a 7:15 kickoff. So the schedule right now for Saturday has the Bills at Broncos and the 49ers at Seahawks. Sunday, Rams at Bears and the winner of Steelers-Texans at the Patriots. Meanwhile, the U.S. Figure Skating Championships at Enterprise Center, those took place over the last several days, and the United States Olympic team was announced yesterday. Ilya Malinin and the ice dance duo of Madison Chock and Evan Bates lead a strong U.S. figure skating team at the Milan Cortina Olympics. Fresh off his 4th national title, Malinin aims to follow Nathan Chen's footsteps for men's gold. Chock and Bates, their 7th U.S. championship, are top contenders. Alyssa Liu joins the women's team after a brief retirement. Amber Glenn is on that team. The U.S. team includes 16 athletes, notable names all throughout, and they were all here in St. Louis over the last several days. We'll take a look at Chaim Bloom's pursuit of a position player for the Cardinals. That's on the way at 7:15 on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting weak is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ends 131. Select models only.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:50. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's not a bad morning on the highways, Debbie, although I am seeing a little bit of a backup. We have a minor crash on northbound 55 at McNutt, so just watch it in Jefferson County. It's not even, well, it's maybe about midway back to Highway A, I guess, roughly in that vicinity. So just use some caution as you're headed through that area on northbound 55. But once you get past that point, you're just going to have the normally heavy traffic. So that means the right lane's coming up through Butler Hill. And actually, you know, this McNutt crash looks to me like it's on the shoulder now as I'm trying to get a view of it here. Anyway, right lane's a little busy north of Butler Hill, and then all lanes are bogged down. Bayless up to River de Pere. North 270 at Tesson Ferry, slow. Let's call it north of Big Bend. Most of the way up to Ladue is just kind of busy off the pace the whole way through. Southbound 61 has cleared out, and eastbound 64 and 70 out of Wentzville. Coming across the Missouri River bridges look great. In downtown, still no delays westbound across the Poplar or Muso Vendors bridges for Illinois drivers. So wrapping up that crash, I know the ramp's open, but there may still be a minor restriction eastbound 255 at Lee May Ferry. That was a car off in the ditch at that location. Next update at 6:58 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It is 6:51 and it is chilly out there, but it's going to warm up. Here's the good news. Sunshine, high 53 today. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 40. Tomorrow, warm, actually. Some sun and a high of 61 degrees. And then we go back to winter. A spotty shower tomorrow night with chillier Wednesday temperatures falling into and through the 30s. Currently, we have a clear sky. It's 28 downtown at the Arch.
6:52 and time on this Monday to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. Jill, you know, almost every time I go to my mom's, a couple times a week, she'll hand me some envelope and she'll say, "What is this? I don't understand this." And then I have to pour through it. And then sometimes I don't even understand it. And She's 84 years old trying to figure out what her Medicare stuff says. It's very confusing.
It totally is. I'm in the exact same situation. And, frankly, I was very alert to this recently. My mother calls me all the time and asks me, I got this. And I'll say, take a picture of the statement, send it to me. Okay, throw that out, shred that, do this, do that. But then I said, we got to get more serious about this. And I said, Mom, I said, my sister and I were going to come up with my mother, go through every single document that she had and go through and build a checklist for the family. And I call it the Family Chief Financial Officer or CFO checklist, because you want everybody on the same page so that you all can have another set of eyes on a situation. Look, we know that fraud is just prevalent with any person. It's just that the seniors, anyone 60 and older, is targeted because that's where the money is. It's like, why'd you go rob the bank? Because that's where the money is, right? So there is a big targeting of people 60 and older. So a few things that you can really think about is gathering up information, making sure you know where accounts are, making sure you understand property investments and who's the beneficiary, how household income is deposited and where it goes. And then I think you can put a great safety measure in. You can become, for you specifically like me, you can become a trusted contact at a financial firm. That allows the institution to alert the account owner, but then also you, the trusted content, if they notice suspicious activity. Maybe an added precaution, you receive a copy of your parents or your friends, whatever relatives statement. Just as, again, I have no control over this. I just want to keep an eye on it. Does that seem onerous to you? Do you think your mom would be up for that?
Oh, totally.
All right. One next step that we did with my mother that I think every single person listening should do for themselves and anyone who they care about: freeze your credit. Freezing credit restricts access to your credit file. That makes it almost impossible for an identity thief to open a new account in the name of the person. Okay. It's a pain in the neck. I'm just going to put it out there. Set aside a half hour today. You actually have to enact a freeze at all three major agencies: Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. If you go to my website, if you go to JillOnMoney.com, I have links to the websites. I have the phone numbers. Remember, during a freeze, if the person whose account is frozen needs to borrow money, you have to unfreeze. So you're like, I'm freezing my account. Then a year from now, you're like, I need to get a car loan. You unfreeze, and then you put the freeze back in place. But once you do freeze, that process of turning on and off is a lot easier.
All right, I'm going to take care of that today.
Yes.
JillOnMoney.com, CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Thanks so much.
Take care.
It's 6:55.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
That birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Max Murray, Carol Justice, Cindy Licklider, Stella Sheehan, Diane Rademacher, Lola Wisman from Grandma and Grandpa Wiss, Terry LaPlante from your friends, and to Brent Feldman from all your friends at Tower Grove Park.
This is the best birthday ever.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regular fairly priced services when you mention the KMOX special. ZeroResSTL.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for the FanDuel Sportsbook, which is the official sportsbook of KMOX, and of course for me too. And the final wild card matchup is tonight. And FanDuel has full-on, turned-on playoff mode. So all customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. And tonight, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. You've got the game tonight. Houston is favored at Pittsburgh, so you can go with the favorite. You can take your shot on an upset. You could build a same-game parlay with some yardage markers and points scored above or below the number. You got all kinds of ways to play. Then you just apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So you just visit FanDuel.com/Missouri, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Reminder, you must be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, he still got trouble down south, Tom. I mentioned a crash north 55 at McNutt that was cleared. They did clear it, but it created a jam, and somebody ran into the back of that jam. So now we have a new crash blocking. This one's in the left lane, north 55, just a little south of McNutt. Traffic's jammed more than midway back to Highway A. Northbound 55, Bayless up to River de Pere and around Loughborough's a little slow. North 270, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester, and north of there up to 64 Ladou's kind of busy right now as well. Downtown, we still look good across the bridges for Illinois drivers. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare says plenty of sunshine today, a high of 53 degrees. Clear to partly cloudy, low 40 tonight. Tomorrow, breezy and warm with clouds and some sun and a high of 61. But we drop back into the 30s on Wednesday with a spotty shower and temperatures falling back into winter. It's 27 right now.
If Missouri replaces the income tax with a sales tax, what's stopping St. Louisans and Kansas Cityans from going to Illinois and Kansas for their groceries?
The only thing separating Missouri and Kansas is a little bit of pavement.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Maria Kino with what Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is saying about the situation in Minneapolis.
Is Chaim Bloom looking for a position player for the Cardinals?
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Trump administration has just upped the ante in the standoff between the president and the head of the Fed. Chairman Jerome Powell says the Justice Department is investigating whether he lied to Congress about the central bank's renovation at its headquarters in Washington. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
A Justice Department spokesperson told CBS News the Attorney General has instructed her U.S. attorneys to prioritize investigating any abuse of taxpayer dollars. But the Federal Reserve is self-funded.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
In an interview with NBC News, Trump said, quote, "I don't know anything about it, but he's certainly not very good at the Fed, and he's not very good at building buildings."
Mr. Trump says he's not ruling out military options in Iran after a human rights group reported more than 500 anti-government demonstrators have been killed there.
They want to have freedom. The protesters are after freedom. Iran has not allowed freedom for a long time.
He says Tehran wants to negotiate, but he says it may be too late for talking. CBS News has learned that Trump administration officials will meet with Danish officials on Wednesday to discuss the future of Greenland.
Last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Congress that President Trump is interested in purchasing the strategically located, mineral-rich Danish territory. But Trump has now repeated his threat to take it by force if any such deal falls through, saying, if we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Possible preview of the Academy Awards at last night's Golden Globes. CBS's Matt Wolf.
This year's award season favorite, the dark comedy One Battle After Another.
I'll take it.
Also the night's big winner, 4 awards total, including Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson and Best Picture Musical or Comedy.
Thank you for believing in me.
Timothy Chalamet took home the Globe for Best Male Actor in a Musical or Comedy for his part as a table tennis dynamo in Marty Supreme.
He thanked his parents and his partner, Kylie Jenner, who was by his side. Hamnet's Jessie Mitchell won Best Actress. There will be a new Super Bowl champion this year.
Purdy, pressure, steps up. Oh, touchdown, San Francisco! It's
Defending champion Philadelphia Eagles knocked out of the playoffs after they fell to the 49ers 23-19 on Fox. San Fran will travel to Seattle next. Bills and Patriots also advanced yesterday. Dow futures down 331. This is CBS News.
Follow and listen to CBS News Roundup on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-8877. 800-885-8877. Again, that's 800-885-8877.
It is 7:04. We've got clear skies, 28 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We'll get you the forecast momentarily. This week, we'll hear Governor Kehoe give his State of the State address. Will it include elimination of the income tax?
State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says he is open to getting rid of the state income tax, but he warns the transition could be a gamble due to the state constitution. Fitzpatrick tells KMOX that's because of the Hancock Amendment. Lawmakers only have one shot to get the numbers right. If perhaps a new sales tax doesn't cover the lost revenue from the income tax, they'd have to go to voters for a fix.
If we cut taxes and we do a replacement, we need to have a high degree of confidence that our math on what that replacement is going to generate is correct. Because if we make a mistake in that math problem, we can't go fix that.
Fitzpatrick says he thinks it's more likely that Kansas City Metro shoppers would cross the state line to a Kansas grocery store more than St. Louis shoppers would go to spend their money across the river in Illinois. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Another day of protests against ICE in St. Louis area. Hundreds marched in Clayton Sunday, chanting "No justice, no peace," holding letters spelling out Renee Nicole Good, the woman killed in Minneapolis.
Protesters are calling for the abolishment of ICE, claiming there's a lack of due process and unchecked power. Traffic in Clayton had to be rerouted for about an hour while protesters marched from Shaw Park toward the St. Louis County government and court buildings.
Illinois Governor Pritzker says the Trump administration doesn't believe in due process.
Governor Pritzker says Renee Good being killed in Minneapolis has happened at least twice in Chicago.
We had a murder that took place by an ICE agent who claimed that he was seriously injured by somebody, and that's why he shot and killed him. Silverio Gonzalez Villegas. That was in September, by the way. And then there was another shooting in October. 5 times a woman was shot. ICE claimed that she had a semi-automatic weapon. She did not.
Governor Pritzker tells CNN Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem and her Assistant Secretary, Tricia McLaughlin, have put out statements within minutes putting facts forward.
At the beginning, we didn't know what the facts were because there weren't cameras on the situations. But then witnesses came forward, and we found out what really happened in both those situations.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Von Terre police say they're investigating Saturday's domestic incident on Huff Court as an attempted murder and attempted suicide. Officers say it happened. It appears a man engaged to a woman stabbed her, then turned the knife on himself. The woman's young child found at the home was not injured. Both the victim and suspect are said to be in critical but stable condition. The St. Francis County prosecuting attorney is considering charges.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Approaching its 100th anniversary, the birdhouse at the St. Louis Zoo is getting a makeover. Officials say the facility will close in March and remain shut down for much of 2026. Birds will be relocated temporarily to other zoos or behind-the-scenes habitats. A new heating and cooling system will be installed during renovations as well as skylights. We're told that when the birdhouse reopens, there may also be some new species added.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 7:07.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay, things people love.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, the one trouble spot we have is northbound 55 at McNutt. We've been talking about it for a little bit. We had an earlier crash right at McNutt. They cleared it pretty quickly because it only developed a short jam. But the problem is somebody ran into the back of that jam. So now this new crash is in the work zone, blocking the left lane, north 55, just south of McNutt. Only the right lane's open. They've requested a tow truck, but there's no shoulder for the tow truck to drive up because there's concrete barriers on both sides of the northbound lane. So he's going to have to sit in traffic and just creep his way up there. So it may take a little while. The jam goes back to about Highway A right now on northbound 55, barely moving. Once you get past that point, you're in pretty good shape. There's slow traffic from Union Road up to River de Pere. After that, you're good to go. Northbound 270, Dory Ferry up to Ladue is generally slow all the way along that lane. We're looking at good out west right now. Southbound 61 coming down onto 64 or 70. Take your pick. Eastbound, they both look great. Headed across the Missouri River bridges. See a backup southbound 94, south of 64 down through Highway D. That's par for the course on a school day, obviously. Downtown, we're still okay. Westbound, headed across the Poplar and Muso Veterans Bridges. I'm not seeing any issues there for you so far. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, plenty of sunshine with a high of 53 today, then clear to partly cloudy, low 40 tonight. Breezy and warm tomorrow with more clouds than sun and a high of 61. A spotty shower for tomorrow night, then rather cloudy, breezy, and chillier Wednesday. Temperatures fall into and through the 30s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's clear and 28 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:11. A man is in custody for smashing windows on North Grand, including some at the fabulous Fox Theater. Police arrested 49-year-old DeJuan Ferguson Saturday after he was caught punching windows with his fists and throwing a trash can through glass at the theater. Lily Clark is owner of Boca Boba, one of half a dozen businesses that were hit, she tells Fox 2.
It's not something that we can solve overnight. It's not something that putting more police out on the street or more law enforcement would even really fix, because it's like a systemic issue.
The suspect, Ferguson, has been charged with 6 counts of first-degree property damage.
Efforts being renewed this year to allow pregnant women in Missouri to finalize a divorce.
Current law allows them to file, but bars judges from granting divorces until after the woman is no longer pregnant. Democrat Maggie Nuremberg of Clay County is sponsoring the state Senate version of the proposal. She praises her Republican colleague, Cecily Williams, who's sponsoring the House version of the bill.
An incredible woman, has an incredibly courageous story, but she is a survivor of domestic violence. And this was her lived reality, that she wasn't granted a divorce despite being in a very abusive relationship.
Last year's bill passed the Missouri House in late February, but died in the Missouri Senate as Republican leaders gave priority to other bills. They included overturning a voter-approved law to raise the minimum wage and require most non-government employers to provide sick leave to their workers. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
There's a meeting tonight at 6:30 at the University City Library that will have an exhibit right from the World's Fair that has not been seen for decades. Mike Truex is president of the 1904 World's Fair Society and tells KMOX someone from Farmington contacted him about a couple of tubs at an antique shop.
And when I say tubs, these were fancy planters about 4 feet long, about 2 feet wide, and about 2.5 feet tall with handles. They were made out of brass, and they had been refound in around 1970 and initially painted, and at some point in the past, these were cleaned up and restored to the original brass luster over the course of the next 10 years.
They're called jardinières, which is a planter. Antique Roadshow came to town in 2019 and was able to identify the sculptor as Gustav Lynn.
Coming up in the news at 7:22, former downtown businessman and frequent guest on the Charlie Brennan Show, Gus Torregrossa, speaks with KMOX, assuring us that he is very much alive. That's coming up here on KMOX.
Let's get into some college basketball. Illinois is the real deal. They beat Iowa on the road. Final score yesterday, number 19 Illinois over number 16 Iowa. At Carver Hawkeye, 75-69. Coach Brad Underwood liked both offense and defense.
Unique. They played really well when Bennett got in foul trouble. Kind of went to some switching but then I thought Keaton in the second half was just really tough. Big three, free throws, big shots, created opportunities, but all in all, very pleased. Road win in this league is like gold, and beat a very, very good and disciplined and well-coached basketball team today.
Brad Underwood and the Fighting Illini with another great win, 75-69 on the road at Iowa. In the NFL yesterday, it was the Buffalo Bills coming up with a victory at Jacksonville, and Josh Allen was the man of the hour.
Under center, we've seen sneaks twice today by Allen. He'll line it up, he'll sneak it, he gets a push, and the push continues inside the 5. Allen all the way down to the goal line. It's a touchdown. It's a quarterback sneak, and Gilliam just pushed him all the way in to give Buffalo the lead.
Shoved his way all the way in. Now, it was ruled that he was down at the 1 yard line, so they ran another play, and he did put it in the end zone to give Buffalo a 27-24 lead, and they held on for that victory. First road win for them in more than 3 decades in the playoffs. And the Bills beat the Jaguars 27-24 to advance to the divisional round. So did the 49ers. They won at Philadelphia. They beat the Eagles 23-19. And last night, the Patriots knocked off the Chargers 16-3. Patriots pretty tough defensively as they hold the Chargers to just 207 total yards. So the matchups this weekend. On Saturday, it's the Bills at Broncos and the 49ers at Seahawks. On Sunday, it's the Rams at Bears and the winner of tonight's Pittsburgh-Houston game at New England. Times and networks will be announced following the conclusion of tonight's Texans-Steelers game. How's Chaim Bloom doing? The Cardinals' president of baseball operations has landed a lot of pitchers here over the recent weeks, but no position players so far. I asked him about that on Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX.
Yeah, we're not super close on anything there, but we've been active in discussions, and obviously there's some balls in the air with our own guys as well, just trying to see how that all settles. I do think when it's all said and done, we will have added to the position player side of the group. I've obviously talked about that. You and I have talked about that in past weeks. We just haven't done it yet, but it's definitely something that we're looking at, working on, and working to do, whether, that comes through free agency, through trade. I don't know. We certainly do like a lot of our position players here. Coming into the winter, felt that the pitching side of it was what needed more beefing up. But we do, especially having moved from our position player group to this point, we do want to add to it as well. And I do expect we'll do that, by the time we get hopefully to Jupiter and certainly to opening day.
Winter warm-up is this weekend at Ballpark Village as the Cardinals introduce some new players to their fans. We will have coverage all weekend long here on KMOX. Over the weekend and much of last week, the U.S. Figure Skating Championships at Enterprise Center, and the Olympic team was named yesterday. Ilya Malinin and the ice dance duo of Madison Chock and Evan Bates leading a strong U.S. team at the Milan Olympics. Malinin claims to follow Nathan Chen's footsteps for men's gold. Chock and Bates, with their 7th U.S. championship, are also top contenders. Alyssa Liu is on the team, along with Amber Glenn. The U.S. Olympic team announced in great crowds over the weekend at Enterprise Center. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday, the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
McKelvey Homes, a great place in Wildwood. The Reserve at Wildwood is ready for you. McKelveyhomes.com if you want to learn about all of the properties that McKelvey Homes has in store for you. Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes, always finding the best home sites, and he has landed another one at the corner of 109 and 100. This is 50 acres at that southwest corner. It's called the Reserve at Wildwood, a stunning collection of homes, a beautiful community with all of the outdoor green spaces you want, all the active and connected lifestyles with the walking trails, miles of them. A charming suburban atmosphere, the Reserve at Wildwood from McKelvey Homes, really close to the Wildwood Town Center and Rockwood School District, Babler State Park. It's everything you could want in a home in a surrounding area. Go to McKelveyhomes.com to learn more about the Reserve at Wildwood. This is a great opportunity for you. For more information, again, McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
721. I'm Debbie Monterrey. That's Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still working with this crash northbound 55 at McNutt, just south of the McNutt overpass proper, right just past the exit there. It's right in the middle of the work zone. There's barriers on the left and right sides of the northbound lanes. Only 2 lanes are there, no shoulder to use, and there's a left lane shut down, so only the right lane's open, and that means it's going to be difficult for the tow truck to get up to the crash. They requested one, but they're not there yet. The jam is a solid one back at Highway A right now on northbound Highway 55. After that, you still got normally heavy traffic from Bayless up to River to Pear. Northbound 270 Tess on Ferry, most of the way to Gravois slow. North of Big Bend, most of the way up to Ladue is busy the whole way through there. Southbound 61, a little slow stuff now at the 64 overpass, and it's a little slow right as you hit Lake St. Louis Boulevard into 364 in that general vicinity. It looks good both ways at the Interbelt right now, though. Eastbound 70, great run from Wentzville all the way downtown. And downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looking good for today. Sunshine and a high of 53 degrees. Tonight, clear, low 40. Tomorrow, warm, high 61. And then a little bit of rain tomorrow night. It's going to drop the temperature Wednesday and Thursday into the 30s. Currently, it's 28 in downtown St. Louis.
And the news continues at 7:22. Like famous Missourian Mark Twain once said, the report of my death was an exaggeration. AMOX's Brad Choate just got off the phone with the one and only Gus Torregrossa, who says it was his cousin, Gus, who recently passed away and will be laid to rest today.
This is Gus Torregrossa from downtown. I was raised in Little Italy, born in 1937, July the 4th, and I'm alive. I'm alive. Tell everybody I'm alive. Yes, it was beautiful downtown when I was born. It was on Saturdays, and people came downtown. It was like Times Square. People came from all over to the shop. East St. Louis, they came from there. It was wonderful. Sticks burned full of Famous and Bar. People came. They had onion soup on Saturdays. Everybody had onion soup. They made it at the cafeterias on the 4th floor of Famous Bar and Dillard's. But anyway, I was a I was Santa Claus for KMOX with Charlie Brennan, my buddy. Yes, and he had me on quite a bit, and I enjoyed it. And I was Santa Claus downtown. I went to different stores and different businesses. And I was always at Chemo's restaurant with Charlie Brennan and a lot of people that came. We had lunch every afternoon at Chemo's restaurant. But anyway, my store, I used to have all the rappers come in. LL Cool, Ice-T, Ice Cube, Jamie Foxx, Criss Cross. I had... Flavor, Boys in the Hood, Salt and Pepper, Too Short, Spice One. You name them, Eazy-E's got me in this video. I'm going down to St. Louis to see God. It was beautiful downtown. It was wonderful, and it still is. We're going to make downtown number one, number two one of these days. We got a great mayor, a great chief of police. It's wonderful, I'll tell you right now. And it's great to be on KMOX, the number one station that I've been having in my life for years. I'm 88 years old, and I'm alive.
Gus Torregrossa.
Wow.
I love it. A rare opportunity tonight at the University City Library to see a part of St. Louis history that was at the World's Fair.
President of the 1904 World's Fair Society, Mike Truex, says to get to this point, there was a lot of research. And it was thought to just be some tubs with stuff in them at a Farmington antique store. It turned out to be planters called jardinières. They were used at the World's Fair.
And this is the first time one of them is coming back to St. Louis to be put on display to the public. And they will be on display down in Farmington for the next few months. And hopefully one of the larger venues or museums might be interested in displaying them longer term up here in St. Louis.
Like the person in Farmington, did they know initially what they were dealing with?
Well, the property had been transferred 2 or 3 times, and they had been kind of overgrown, and they were just part of the property when this man bought them, and he was kind of clearing out the underbrush and stuff, and he came across something that was metal and, half buried, like I said. And they had been painted over, so they were kind of white and the paint was fading. They had some professional metal workers do the restoration to show the original brass finish, and they did a magnificent job showing them because they have some mythological figures carved in that are probably more than a foot high on the long sides. And these were just a German style of yard accessory that, was made back in 1904. Instead of just a round pot, they made a very fancy planter, essentially.
There is a meeting tonight at 6:30 at the U City Library that will have an exhibit featuring this artifact.
It is 7:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis Auto Show returns January 22nd through 25th at the America Center. Bring the whole family and explore hundreds of new vehicles from the world's biggest automotive brands. Then get up close and personal with the coolest, most expensive rides ever created at the $1 Million Mile. There's even something for the kids with our Mid-America Chevy dealers sponsored Kids Zone. Get your tickets today at stlautoshow.com. Kids 12 and under get in free. That's stlautoshow.com.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at Supplement Superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
28 degrees with a clear sky in downtown St. Louis at 7:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's getting busier, but the only place that it's rough is on northbound 55 down south. We still have this crash blocking the left lane northbound 55 at McNutt. Traffic's a solid jam back through Highway A right now on northbound 55. They're waiting for a tow truck or two, but again, the problem is there's no shoulder for the tow truck to drive on, so they just have to sit in the traffic behind everybody else till they get up to the scene, so it's going to probably just take a little longer than it normally would. Northbound 55, once you get out of that and get north of McNutt, you're good to go. Till you get to Bayless up to River to Paris, backed up. North 270 is a ramp on from 55 up to Tesson, very slow. North of 44, up through about Clayton Road. After that, it's not as bad. Eastbound 64, Prospect Lake, St. Louis Boulevard area is heavy. A little bit of a delay at Clarkson. Westbound 64, Hampton through Bellevue, starting to slow a little bit there. Eastbound 70, a little busy. 94 to 5th Street. And seeing a little volume downtown finally, just a slow down westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge and on 5570, just west of 255 briefly as well. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nice day today. We're going to get up to 53 degrees with plenty of sunshine. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 40. Tomorrow, we warm up to 61, says Heather Zaire, but spotty shower tomorrow night. and then cloudy, breezy, chillier Wednesday with temperatures falling into and through the 30s. It's sunny, 29 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The St. Clair County, Illinois sheriff is releasing updated and corrected information about Sunday morning's officer-involved shooting in rural Swansea. Deputies say they received a call in the 2600 block of Old Collinsville Road about a family member attacking relatives with a knife, causing significant injuries. While responding, deputies encountered the suspect, who they say was armed, and a deputy shot the suspect, who is now in serious condition. Illinois State Police are handling the investigation.
Several monkeys and a goat are still on the run in St. Louis. The St. Louis City Health Department received a report of 4 monkeys roaming the street in North City over the weekend. Animal Control is patrolling the area, trying to trap them. No luck yet.
The goat was wearing a collar and was spotted in the same general area that the monkeys were spotted in. The department is warning that those monkeys can be aggressive, so if you see them, don't try to capture them.
St. Louis jazz scene's mourning the loss of renowned St. Louis guitarist Rick Hayden. Hayden was professor emeritus of music at Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville.
He was teaching private applied jazz guitar and directed the Jazz Guitar Ensemble in his 30-plus year career at SIUE. Hayden played a key role in the development and evolution of the jazz program, as well as the university's recording studio. Rick Hayden was 75 years old. Funeral arrangements are pending.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next at 7:33.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here for the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable, because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Let's get you caught up on our money report from Bloomberg. It's 7:35, and it's sponsored for you by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares in bank stocks and credit card firms such as American Express and Capital One are sliding in pre-market trading. President Trump says lenders would be in violation of the law if firms don't cap interest rates at 10% for 1 year. The comments increasing the political pressure on a slew of credit card issuers, including JP Morgan and Citigroup. Credit card interest rates have been hovering above 20% in recent years and have become a target of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. Meantime, Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell says the central bank has been served grand jury subpoenas from the Justice Department threatening criminal indictment. The unprecedented move by the Trump administration marks an escalation of the president's long-standing feud with Powell. Stock index futures are weakening on the news. And household wealth is at a fresh record high as the stock market continues to rally. Household net worth has climbed to nearly $6.1 trillion. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the colleges paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong.
Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming App University that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
It's men's Billikens basketball action Wednesday night as they face Fordham. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's 7:38. The Supreme Court is set to rule Wednesday on the legality of President Trump's sweeping global tariffs. Republican Darren LaHood of Illinois is among those hoping the high court will limit tariffs on the nation's allies. The 16th District Congressman tells CBS News he's particularly hoping to reduce tariffs on groceries and commodities.
Whether it's the price of lumber or it's the price of coffee or bananas or ground beef, those things are obviously important to everyday Americans, to my constituents. So I think pivoting when it comes to our current tariff policy can be very helpful.
LaHood adds that reducing tariffs could create more markets for selling Illinois corn and soybeans.
Muhammad Ali is being honored with a commemorative U.S. postage stamp. Ali was known as one of the greatest boxers and a cultural icon. The former Cassius Clay's stamp features a 1974 Associated Press photo of him in a boxing pose. A first day of issue ceremony for the Muhammad Ali Forever stamp is planned for Thursday in Louisville, Kentucky, his birthplace. His legacy as a fighter, activist, and humanitarian continues to inspire many.
7:40. Let's go back to the roads. Roger Brand and the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still have our troubles down south. Looks like the flatbed tow truck just showed up, however, so that's good news. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies, but that left lane's still shut down. Northbound 55 at McNutt, so only the right lane's open. That's a work zone. No shoulders available to drive around this crash to make it any easier. Jam hasn't changed, though. It's still a solid jam, but pretty much at a standstill from Highway 8 to McNutt north on 55. Once you get past that point, you've got back up from Bayless up to River to Pear. Northbound 270, both sides of Tesson Ferry, a little slow at Gravois. Then from 44 up to Clayton Road, slow. South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue. There's a couple of slow stretches there. Southbound 61 from south of Wentzville Parkway into 64, busy all the way to 364. East of Annie Guns through Clarkson, it's heavy. A little slow at the Interbelt. The eastbound run through Richmond Heights isn't bad. Westbound 64 Hampton to about Big Bend is kind of slow there. Eastbound 70 Highway Z up to 64. Those right lanes are busy. It's a little slow approaching Cave Springs, and then east of Zembel to the Blanchette Bridge. There's also a couple of slowdowns. Hanley coming up the hill through Bermuda, coming out of Cool Valley, and then again Jennings Station around the bend through Bircher as you make your way into the city. And downtown, still not a bad run for Illinois drivers. Westbound's just kind of slow on the Poplar Street Bridge, but no delays getting to it. Mutual Veterans Bridge still wide open. Next update is 7:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
7:41, and time for us to say hello once again to our AccuWeather meteorologist, Heather Zaire.
And it really is going to be a good morning across the area. We've got a lot of sunshine out there right now, and it's going to stay sunny today. We'll top out at 53 degrees as well, which is a little above average for this time of year. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, dropping down to 40 for a fairly mild night for January, and then just downright warm for tomorrow. It'll be breezy despite more clouds than sun. We get up to 61 degrees. Heading into Thursday, then, it's a chilly day. We'll have sun, some clouds, and a high of 34 degrees. That's after a front comes through and drops temperatures through the 30s on Wednesday. Friday is a chillier day. Some rain and snow showers and a high of 42. Right now, 32 in St. Peter's, 34 in Florissant, 31 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:42. Over the weekend, demonstrators took to the streets in multiple cities, including Clayton, to protest the deadly encounter between an ICE agent and Minneapolis resident Renee Nicole Good. The government is now sending more federal officers to the Twin Cities. Here's CBS News correspondent Nicole Skanga.
Federal agents deployed pepper balls and tear gas against protesters outside an ICE facility.
You stay out of the road.
Led by Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino. What do you say to Americans, including police chiefs, that say if there is no de-escalation in sight, it's not a matter of if, but when this happens again?
Well, we've already said that, Nicole. The de-escalation and a lot of those police chiefs that you mentioned don't seem to de-escalate. They seem to escalate.
Are you de-escalating?
Absolutely. Every day we de-escalate.
President Trump is said to be considering new military options against Iran amid a violent crackdown on anti-government protests. We get more from CBS's Bradley Blackburn.
U.S. activists say more than 500 protesters have been killed in the violence surrounding the demonstrations. An Iranian lawmaker has threatened to retaliate against U.S. military assets in the region if the U.S. strikes.
If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before.
Also in the news this morning, AP's Lisa Dwyer reporting on a new strike affecting New York City hospitals.
Thousands of nurses at several major New York City hospitals have gone on strike after negotiations through the weekend failed to yield a breakthrough. The union says about 15,000 nurses are participating in the strike. The strike is hitting during a severe flu season and could potentially force hospitals to transfer patients, cancel procedures, or divert ambulances. It could also put a strain on city hospitals not involved in the contract dispute, as patients avoid the medical centers hit by the strike. Among the nurses' demands are manageable workloads and more workplace security. Hospitals say the union's demands are too costly. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Some games over the weekend in the NFL playoffs, including this one. Philadelphia, the San Francisco 49ers trying to knock out the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. The call on Westwood one.
Huge play now for San Francisco. 3rd and goal at the 4. Under 3 minutes to play. 2-point lead for the Eagles. They send Jennings wide to the right. In the slot right is Robinson. Motion man is born to the left. Shotgun. Purdy takes the snap. Looking. Purdy steps up. Purdy delivers. End zone. Caught. Touchdown. McCaffrey. 49ers go in front. San Francisco with a major answer. And the crowd goes quiet here in Philadelphia. 43 seconds left. San Francisco leads at 23-19. It's a 4th and 11 at the San Francisco 21. They break the huddle. Hurts, shotgun. 2 receivers left. Barkley to his left. 2 receivers right. Brown goes in motion to the outside. Takes the snap. Hurts, steps up. Hurts, fires over the middle into a crowd. It's broken up. 49ers come up big. Incomplete. Kendricks gets a piece. And the Eagles turn it over on downs. San Francisco takes over. And they're 40 seconds away from a victory. The defending Super Bowl champions come up empty on 4th down.
And the 49ers win at 23-19 to advance to the divisional round. Also in the NFC, it's the Rams and the Bears. They both won on Saturday. They'll be playing at Soldier Field. Buffalo beat Jacksonville yesterday, 27-24. First win on the road in the playoffs for Buffalo in more than 3 decades. And late last night, the Patriots finished off the Chargers 16-3. That sets up divisional round weekend. One more game tonight, Houston and Pittsburgh, before we can determine the times and the networks for these games. But we know that Saturday, it'll be the Bills at Broncos and the 49ers at Seahawks. On Sunday, Rams at Bears and the winner of Pittsburgh and Houston at the Patriots. How about Illinois? Another win for them. They've won 5 straight, third on the road in Big Ten play, and they stay tied for third place in the very competitive conference. Illinois led 58-41 with 11:25 to play. The Hawkeyes rallied but fell short. It's a win for number 16 Illinois over number 19 Iowa, 75-69. The head coach of the Illini is Brad Underwood. The goal was to try to shut down Iowa star Bennett Sturtz.
Just make it hard. He's really good. You're not going to take everything away from him. And it's more importantly, making him guard the other end and making him work at the other end. I thought that, I thought matchup hunting was good for us in this one.
Sturtz ended up with just 12 points on 5 of 17 shooting as the Illini lock it down. Also locked down the Olympic spots for the U.S. figure skating team. They were in town over the last week at Enterprise Center, and it was celebrated with big crowds. And as it turns out, Ilya Malinin and the ice dance duo of Madison Chock and Evan Bates were part of a strong U.S. figure skating team announced yesterday. They will represent our country at the Milan Cortina Olympics. Malinin aiming to follow Nathan Chen's footsteps for men's gold. Chock and Bates, 7th U.S. championship for them. Alyssa Liu, after a brief retirement, has joined the women's team alongside Amber Glenn. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
The 29th annual Winter Warm-Up is coming back to Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village, January 17th and 18th. Admission passes and player autograph tickets are on sale now. Team up with Cardinals Care to support St. Louis area children by purchasing your tickets now. It's one of the best events of the year with family-friendly activities, including tours of the Cardinals Clubhouse and admission to the world-class Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 7:50, time to check in with Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still working with our crash down south, Debbie, on northbound 55 at McNuttstall. The left lane shut down. A second flatbed's there to grab the other car when the first one's done and can get out of there. So, again, the left lane still blocked, only the right lane open. Northbound 55 jams approaching Highway A up to that point. It's still kind of slow from Bayless up to River to Perry and a little busy Loughborough, Holly Hills. Northbound 270 approaching Gravois. most of the way up to Ladue is busy. South 270 midway between 364 and Olive down to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 70, the right lane's a little heavy at Highway Z, east of Zumbel in through the Blanchette Bridge. It's a little slow Lindbergh through Cypress. A couple of spots from Hanley into the city limits where it's off the pace, climbing hill where the sun gets you in the eyes, obviously. Southbound 61, crossing over onto 64 is heavy most of the way to 364 through the Chesterfield Parkways, 270 through Clayton Warson, and right at the Interbelt, South 170 has heavy stretches from Delmar down to 64. Westbound 64, Science Center through Big Bend is busy, and westbound 64 downtown. Just a short backup approaching Route 3 to the Poplar. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nice day today, Roger. We're looking at some sun and a high of 53 degrees. Heather Zaire says tomorrow will be even better. After a low of 40 tonight, we get up to 61 tomorrow with some sun. Then we're back down into the 30s on Wednesday with a spotty shower tomorrow night. And on Thursday, we stay in the 30s with a high of only 34 degrees. We're just about there now. It's sunny and 30 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. The Golden Globe Awards back at the Beverly Hilton last night, and some firsts. KNX's Natalie Tavidian was backstage with some of the big winners.
It was a night of firsts here at the Hilton, including the youngest Golden Globe winner ever.
The most proudest I've ever been.
That's Golden Globe winner Owen Cooper. His show Adolescence made history. Cooper is just 16 years old, becoming the youngest person ever to win a Golden Globe.
We made this show in the summer of 2024, and we made it with love, and we made it with, it was a special show when we made it, but never in a million years did we think that would be here, the Emmys, the Critics' Choice. You know, even in this continent, really, we didn't even think we'd be here. But you know, we're all as the cast and crew just so grateful.
Another first this year, the Golden Globes introducing a brand new podcast category. Amy Poehler taking home the first ever award for Best Podcast.
Very cool that it's being honored here. I'm a huge fan of the medium, and to be in it now, working in it is really exciting. So it feels awesome. And I, expected Snoop to be the one to give me the award. Makes perfect sense.
The new podcast category included nominees like Smart Less, Call Her Daddy, the Mel Robbins podcast. Poehler told us what excites her most about podcasting is its global reach and the fact people can listen anytime, anywhere. Backstage at the Golden Globes in Beverly Hills, I'm Natalie Tavidian, KNX News 97.1 FM.
St. Louis and Nikki Glazer hosted the Golden Globes for the second straight year, and in her opening monologue, she did not shy away from politics.
I cannot believe the amount of star power we have in this room tonight. It's insane. There's so many A-listers. And by A-listers, I do mean people who are on A-list that has been heavily redacted. But yes. And the Golden Globe for Best Editing goes to the Justice Department.
Glazer also had some barbs for the A-listers in the room.
Kevin Hart is here, the Rock's plus one half. Love you, Kevin. Kevin is obviously nominated for his hilarious stand-up special tonight. I love you so much, Kevin. You're so funny. And you and The Rock together are like my favorite comedy duo. Such a classic comedy duo. You're like Steve Martin and Martin Short, but for like people under 50 IQ. You know what I mean?
New research says don't get your CPR tips and techniques from TV.
The University of Pittsburgh found medical shows where CPR is performed often use outdated techniques. Researchers analyzed 169 shows, finding fewer than 30% got it right. Viewers may see mouth-to-mouth or pulse checking, which are inaccurate and could be detrimental in real-life crucial moments. The study found 44% of medical dramas portray mainly young people in public places, when real cardiac arrests happen to people in their 60s at home. The American Heart Association recommends 2 simple steps: call 911 and do chest compressions. Cooper Lawrence, CBS News.
We lost Bob Weir over the weekend, the co-founder of the Grateful Dead.
The Empire State Building was lit up in tie-dye colors in honor of Grateful Dead co-founder Bob Weir. So was LA's Kia Forum, the Las Vegas Sphere, where Dead & Company played 48 shows across 2 separate residencies, featured Weir's image surrounded by red roses. Weir died last week at the age of 78. His family says he'd beaten cancer, but succumbed to underlying lung issues. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family. for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting weak is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ins 131, select models only.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's 2026 and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 plus a free hallway, and take 15% off regularly priced services when you mention the CamWex special. ZeroResSTL.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
It is time to check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, looks like they're about wrapped up with the crash, Debbie. Northbound 55, just at McNutt, but for right now, that left lane still closed. Should be open momentarily. Still a solid jam back through Highway A. Northbound 270 through Gravois, 44 up to Manchester, north of there up to Ladue, still busy. South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue is slow. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny, 30 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. Missouri's abortion battle is in court this week.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Gen Z going back to using cold hard cash instead of credit cards.
What's next for the country's top figure skaters who were in St. Louis this past week?
Roblox now requiring facial age checks for users. We'll tell you more.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare. A lot of sunshine for today. It'll be a nice day with a high of 53.
We're going to learn a few things today, including whether St. Louis University cracks the top 25 in college basketball for the first time since the 2021 season. We'll have all kinds of updates on the Gas House Gang today at noon when I join Chris Ranji. It's 8 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A new chapter in the tense relationship between President Trump and the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell. The chairman says the Justice Department has begun a criminal investigation into the Fed's renovation at its headquarters in Washington. Correspondent Scott McFarlane reports.
The president faces accusations of politically motivated investigations. The administration denies this, but this is the latest in a series of Department of Justice probes they've launched, including those against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. A judge dismissed both of those cases.
Activists overseas say more than 500 people have been killed in a crackdown on protesters in Iran. President Trump has threatened U.S. strikes. Correspondent Holly Williams is at the foreign desk.
President Trump's repeatedly threatened to hit Iran hard if the regime kills protesters. A U.S. official told CBS News that Trump's been briefed on options for military strikes inside Iran.
We're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it. And we're looking at some
Very strong option.
He says Tehran has reached out to ask for talks. Nearly 15,000 workers, nurses went on strike this morning in New York City. This nurse at Mount Sinai West Hospital is among them.
They want to decrease our benefits. They want us to pay for it. And working in New York, that's a big chunk out of our paycheck, that if we have to do that. But why should we have to do that?
Nurses also demanding minimum staffing ratios and more security to reduce workplace violence. A study from the British government finds screen time is impacting toddlers' language skills.
The study notes under 5 spending around 5 hours a day in front of screens have significantly worse communication skills and vocabulary than those with the lowest screen time. Early childhood expert Felicity Gillespie says that's because language skills form during interplay between toddler and adult.
The trouble with a screen is it's a passive one-way transmission of information, which just leaves the baby or the toddler passively watching and observing.
The British government will publish guidance for parents this spring. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
One battle after another in Hamnet, the movies to beat at this year's Academy Awards. Both won Best Picture honors at a precursor to the Oscars, the Golden Globes. Hamnet's director, Chloe Zhao.
Let's keep our hearts open and let's keep seeing each other. And let's keep allowing ourselves to be seen. Thank you.
Hamnet star Jessie Buckley won a Globe. Timothy Chalamet picked up his first ever for Marty Supreme. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 30 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, January 12th. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis police have arrested a man for a spree of break-ins on North Grand.
It appears the window smashing happened early Saturday morning. At least 6 businesses were hit, including the fabulous Fox Theater. Lily Clark, owner of Boca Boba, tells Fox 2.
It looked just like someone had thrown like a brick or a rock through the window. We took a walk down the street and all the other businesses, their windows were broken completely. So it was like you could step from the street inside their places of business, which I'm sure is terrifying to walk into.
The suspect was arrested at the Fox. He's identified as 49-year-old DeJuan Ferguson. Police say he used his fist to smash windows and at one point threw a trash can through the glass at the theater. Ferguson's been charged with 6 counts of first-degree property damage. Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
An update on Sunday afternoon's shooting death in South St. Louis. City police say one person has been detained for questioning after a man was found dead in the 4200 block of Michigan. Homicide detectives would like to speak with anyone who knows what led up to the shooting. Is a plan to scrap Missouri's state income tax going to be part of Governor Kehoe's State of the State address tomorrow?
If it is, fellow Republicans, State Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick tells KMOX the numbers have to add up. He warns that if Missouri swaps its income tax for perhaps a higher sales tax, geography might hurt revenue from the Kansas City and St. Louis metro areas, though one more than the other.
I think that there's a bigger risk of that on the Kansas side than there is on the Illinois side, just because of the logistics of crossing the border in Kansas City are much easier. I mean, you can cross the state line and not know you've crossed it, whereas on the St. Louis side, you've got to cross the Mississippi River.
Fitzpatrick also notes that many parts of the state already live in a double-digit sales tax world because of countless special taxing districts. He says raising that rate further requires careful analysis. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
There's a renewed effort to allow pregnant women in Missouri to finalize divorces.
Current law allows them to file for divorce, but it cannot be finalized while they're still pregnant. State Senator Maggie Nurenburn of Clay County is sponsoring this year's effort to update the law. She tells MissouriNet.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is one of them that got stuck in the logjam at the end of session. And unfortunately, it was in those final days when it was brought to the Senate floor. So this, unfortunately, was one of the really good bills that fell victim to the end of session.
Last year's version of the bill passed the Missouri House in late February. The proposal would also allow final judgments of legal separation for pregnant women. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
As protests grow around the country, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is telling demonstrators to keep violence out of them.
Pritzker says DHS Secretary Christine Noem and her assistant secretary have put out statements saying the ICE shootings are justified before there's any investigation. It's happened twice in Chicago back in the fall.
And we found out what really happened in both those situations. And that is why we know that ICE was at fault and why no charges have been brought against, for example, the woman who was shot 5 times, who they claimed was a domestic terrorist back then.
Governor Pritzker tells CNN ICE and CBP, that's Customs and Border Patrol, are breaking their own protocols by what he says roughing up citizens and in some cases killing them when they are U.S. citizens and have done nothing wrong. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Lal Karsanbhai, the president and CEO of Emerson Electric, is the new chair of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis Board. The CEO of Bunge Global, Gregory Heckman, is deputy chair. Nina Leigh Kruger, president and CEO of Nestle Purina Pet Care, has been appointed to a 3-year term on the Fed's Board of Governors. The 9-member board oversees bank management. More than 13,000 cell phone chargers that were bought at Marshalls and TJ Maxx stores across the nation now being recalled because they could explode. The magnetic wireless chargers were sold under the Illaray brand label between June of 2024 and this past November. They were made in several colors, but all have the model number RM5PBM. We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up. It's now 8:08.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 8:10, let's give you the news on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we just can't stay out of trouble on northbound 55, Megan. You know, just before the top of the hour, they cleared that crash that was out there for a while. Northbound 55 at McNutt that was in the left lane. And like 3 minutes after it cleared, we got a stalled tractor trailer in the right lane at the same spot. So still only one lane open, north 55. They're calling for a big rig tow truck for this guy. Not sure how long it'll take to get that hooked up and out of there, but it's still a solid jam back at Highway A. It's still a little heavy from Bayless up to River to Pear after you get past that point. A crash now, north 270 at 44. This one's blocking the left lane. Traffic's not a jam, but it's slow north of Gravois, but it remains heavy. Big Bend all the way up to Ladue, even after you get past that crash. South 270, south of Olive down to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 64 between Prospect and the Boulevard's kind of heavy. There's a slowdown through Ballas, and then east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, Clayton Warson out through Spady. That's all busy. Eastbound Highway 70, there's still a little heavy traffic from Cypress up through Air Flight and a little slow right around the city limits. Downtown westbound's barely busy at the Illinois end of the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A nice day today with plenty of sunshine. We'll have a high of 53, then clear to partly cloudy, low 40 tonight. Tomorrow we end up with more clouds than sun. It'll be breezy and warm with a high of 61 degrees. A spotty shower for tomorrow night will give way to clouds and a chilly breeze on Wednesday. Temperatures fall into and through the 30s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a sunny morning, 33 degrees in Florissant. It's 29 in St. Peters and 30 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Abortion and reproductive rights issues are sure to be key issues in Missouri this year. Groups on both sides watching a court case starting this week that could determine what happens with abortion access in the state in light of a constitutional amendment on reproductive health passed by voters in 2024. Plus, later this year, voters will consider a new ballot issue that seeks to ban most abortions. Last week, I spoke with the head of Planned Parenthood in our region. Today, another viewpoint. Jamie Morris is executive director and general counsel of the Missouri Catholic Conference. A lot has happened in the courts since passage of the Right to Reproductive Freedom Act in 2024. That's what enshrined a constitutional right to abortion in Missouri. One of the big sticking points for a trial that is starting this week is the issue of medication abortion. Where does your organization fall on that issue in particular?
Sure. Well, obviously, regardless of the method, we are against, abortion in all forms, medical, surgical, and so in that regard, the method by which it is done doesn't really change our analysis of the issue.
So when it comes to that passage of that constitutional amendment, it did pass by a very slim margin. One of the things when we look at issues like this is always what kind of outside money came in. I asked the head of Planned Parenthood about this last week. Do you think outside money will be brought to bear again this year because there's another ballot issue?
Oh, I'm sure there will be, and again, I'm assuming our side will probably be greatly outspent. I think there was it's like 30 million to about 2 million maybe. I think was spent this last, and I expect that. It's a big deal that I think Missouri would be the first state to potentially, roll back one of these ballot initiatives. So I fully expect that there will be a lot of money coming in on this issue in November.
Yeah, that ballot issue would ban nearly all abortions in Missouri. An appeals court has actually rewritten the ballot language. What's your feeling about that?
I still think the language, represents. Obviously, I was more partial to the initial language. But I think the ballot language that we have is sufficient. And I think the ballot measure itself really does represent where I think most Missourians are. Going back to your point about how close the last vote was, that vote was under 2%. Our side was outspent greatly. And in a political climate that is not favorable right now to the pro-life movement. And so I think that shows that there is, a segment of kind of that middle ground of Missourians that, weren't comfortable with a full ban, maybe aren't comfortable with a complete opening up of the law. And so I think this new measure better represents where most Missourians are.
Is this something that you think will bring people out to the polling place?
I hope so. I think so. It's a little unprecedented, again, having these back-to-backs, and you're doing it in a non-presidential year. And so, turnout's always going to be a question in those instances. But I'm certain our opponents are energized, and I know the pro-life side is energized. And I think the closeness of the last vote has really encourage pro-lifers such that, my hope is that they will be enthusiastic and get to the polls in November.
Let's talk about the overall availability of and funding for reproductive health care in the state, just outside of this abortion issue. There's been a lot of talk about the Medicaid reimbursements that are not being sent to some organizations that do provide abortions. Does that need to change?
No, I mean, we are for, withholding of medical funds for abortion providers. That has been our position. Our view on that has been that, no one is saying that groups can't receive Medicaid reimbursement, but if you choose to also perform abortions, then that is a problem, and that is a decision that our legislature has made now. And we support them for that. That, if Planned Parenthood wants to do all of these, things that they say are great health care, and that abortion is only a small portion of that, those numbers and that story kind of tends to, in all fairness, change a little bit depending on the nature of the issue. And so I guess, my response would be, if they were to divest themselves from the abortion business, they can continue to provide all of the other services, receive reimbursement, and be treated as any other provider in that instance.
Are you concerned beyond that of funding for other healthcare needs for people outside of the abortion issue?
Oh, in general, yes. And I think the budget is going to be tight this year. And I think we're seeing that our budget, the state budget is going to be tightening up these next few years. And so, when it comes to access to healthcare, we are concerned with that. We have been in support of Show Me Healthy Babies and alternatives to abortion, but also even, Medicaid expansion. The bishops came out in support of that a few years back, and the expansion of the benefits for women who are postpartum women that would have normally lost their Medicaid eligibility after, I believe it was 60 days, the extension of that to a year, things like that we have always been in support in because, we do know the maternal and infant mortality is still not where we want it in the state of Missouri.
This session of the legislature has just gotten started, but there are some indications of some legislation that is coming, in this arena. One of those is the establishment of fetal personhood and the other criminal penalties for anyone who would provide an abortion. Talk a little bit about those proposals.
Sure. And I will say I have not delved too deeply yet at this point in session into all of the proposals. I would say with fetal personhood, I don't know, with the way our last election went on the old, what I call the old Amendment 3, I think it would be very difficult to get a personhood amendment passed in this current climate. And quite frankly, the new Amendment 3 is what we're focused on because it is right in front of us. We know it will be coming up for a vote. In regards to criminalization, specifically, any proposal that would criminalize women who have had an abortion, that has always been a non-starter for us. And I don't want to speak for everyone, but at large for the mainstream pro-life movement, criminalizing women for an abortion has never been, what we have sought or has been a priority for the movement. And so, we have come out in the past against those types of proposals.
What about penalties for abortion providers?
I think that is a different question. I think to the extent you're going to have penalties, I think it makes more sense, to be focused on the provider. But again, what the extent of those should be, and I don't know that I have a great here's what the penalty should be. But I think that's a little bit of a different topic. That if you have someone providing abortions in violation of the law, there should be some type of penalty.
That's Jamie Morris, Executive Director and General Counsel of the Missouri Catholic Conference. Other legislative issues the organization is watching include support for a child care affordability bill. It's now 8:20. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. Once again, he was telling us about a problem on northbound 55. He joins us with more from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, that's right, Megan. We got a couple of problems out there. This traffic reports a service of Meadowview Memory Care. One of them, like you said, is northbound 55 at McNutt. We had that crash earlier in the left lane. Then they cleared it. And now the problem is a stalled tractor trailer in the right lane at the same spot. So we're still jammed from almost 67, really. Stop and go pockets all the way through McNutt on northbound 55. You get around it, you're still slow from Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270, we have that crash at 44. Slow midway up from Gravois, but not a jam. And then it's heavy Doherty Ferry all the way to Ladue. South 270, Olive down to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh into about Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker to Hanley, slow. And again, Spady to Ballas, a little congestion. A little bit of a delay around the airport. Approaching air flight up through to about Natural Bridge, there's a minor crash involving a tanker truck, but it's on the right shoulder. That's why it's just a slowdown there and not a jam. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking the forecast for today, it looks like we are going to have plenty of sunshine with a high of 53, clear to partly cloudy tonight with a low of 40. Right now, sunny 30 downtown at the Arch.
Discover Meadowview Memory Care in Arnold, a small, secure community on a beautiful campus. Enjoy peace of mind with all our inclusive rates and comfortable private suites. Schedule your tour today at rspseniorliving.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Thanks for joining me this morning on Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch, and with me, Greg Garrison, consumer banking analyst for U.S. News. He wrote a recent column about the trend of younger generations avoiding credit cards and the pros and cons. Greg, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Megan. Great to be here.
What are you seeing when it comes to credit card use for these younger Americans?
Well, what we saw in this survey was that baby boomers, the older generations, they are using credit cards for everyday purchases just about as much as they use debit cards. But there's a significant fall off once you get to younger generations. Gen X and lower, significantly, they prefer debit cards over credit cards.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this is not really a bad thing, is it? Or is it? Are there some downsides to not using those credit cards?
Well, I mean, certainly, you may want to build credit. And we ask these, the people who say they're avoiding credit cards, why they're doing it. And they essentially said, I want to avoid debt and I want to track my spending. And I just don't trust myself.
When it comes to avoiding debt, are they successful at that without using credit cards?
Somewhat. They are. They say, I've done a good job at avoiding debt so far, and I just don't want to fall into that hole. Although we did ask them other, questions related to that. For example, we asked them, how frequently do you overdraft your checking account? And we asked them if they had done that in the past year. Well, 60% of respondents said they had overdrafted their checking account in the past year, and that can lead to major fees. It's about $35, for an overdraft fee. So this is significant. They also said, 38% said that they had missed a credit card payment in the past year, and obviously, that can get you farther in debt. So they're trying to avoid debt, but I'm not sure that they're succeeding.
What about this use among a lot of people right now of the buy now, pay later plans?
Right. It is growing in popularity. I think we thought going into the survey that Gen Z would be adopting buy now, pay later at a higher rate than they are. We found that only about 5% of Gen Z are using buy now, pay later for most of their purchases. And maybe, I'd say about 50% of them use it at all. But it is growing in popularity. Obviously, as you get to older generations, are not real familiar with it. We had one respondent just say, "What the heck is that thing?" So, it's more popular with younger generations, but still has a long way to go.
Yeah, the older generations still remember the Kmart layaway, I'm sure. Let's talk about, using a debit card. Are there any misconceptions about this and what it means for your credit and your credit score?
Yeah, there are. This one is a big one. We asked respondents, we just basically asked them, true or false, using a debit card, does that help you build credit? And 43% thought that it did. And in almost every situation, it doesn't. There's a few specialty products that can use debit card payments that can report them to credit bureaus. But essentially, it doesn't. And there's some real misconception about that.
Any other insights that you gleaned from this survey that you want to share with our listeners?
I always look for something that's just I wasn't expecting, and it's kind of funny. Gen Z was the generation that was most likely to pay with cash right now. And so 12% of Gen Z is spending, they're just going and paying with cold hard cash for most of their purchases, whereas baby boomers, who you might think would be, paying with cash more, only about 9% of them are doing that most frequently.
Everything old is new again, Greg.
Exactly.
All right. That is Greg Garrison, consumer banking analyst for U.S. News. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Megan.
It's now 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Al Arbor, Barrett Jackman, and Alexander Steen celebrate the newest inductees into the St. Louis Blues Hall of Fame, presented by First Community during a pregame ceremony on January 13th when the Blues take on the Hurricanes. Be sure to get here early to honor the legends and be one of the first 10,000 fans through the gate to receive a Blues Hall of Fame Class of 2026 banner courtesy of First Community. Get your tickets today at stlouisblues.com.
8:30, let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we have a big rig tow truck hooking up to the stalled semi in the right lane, northbound 55 at McNutt. This traffic reports service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. So hopefully it won't be much longer. But for now, still only left lane open. Traffic's backed up at Highway A. You get past that point, it's still kind of slow. Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270, they cleared that crash at Gravois earlier, as I mentioned. So the delays there have thinned out, but still slow. North of Big Bend all the way to Ladue. South 270 approaching Olive to Ladue is busy. We have a crash. It's on the right shoulder. The one I'm looking at anyway, eastbound 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's jammed at Prospect up to that one. There may be another one out of my view, but that's the one I can see. But there is a jam. 64 is a little slow east of Chesterfield Parkway, and then we have slow traffic from west of McKnight into Big Bend. South 170 delays at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley slow. Still some heavy traffic. Cypress past Air Flight where we have that semi-crash on the shoulder, eastbound 70 as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're looking for plenty of sunshine today with a high of 53, clear to partly cloudy tonight, an overnight low of 40. Right now, sunny skies, 30 downtown at the Arch. Tension between President Trump and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell have been ratcheted up. In a video last night, Powell said the Department of Justice is investigating whether he lied to Congress about the central bank's renovation project. He said the probe and a possible criminal indictment is a test of the Fed's independence. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland has more.
A Justice Department spokesperson told CBS News the Attorney General has instructed her U.S. attorneys to prioritize investigating any abuse of taxpayer dollars. But the Federal Reserve is self-funded.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
Powell, appointed to his office in Trump's first term, has been a frequent high-profile target for Trump in his second term.
I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. Guy's grossly incompetent.
Trump has repeatedly blasted Powell for not lowering interest rates fast enough.
He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell.
Despite the Fed's independence from politics, Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan recently told Face the Nation upsetting that independence could have consequences.
The market will punish people if we don't have an independent Fed, and everybody knows that.
Powell alone does not decide interest rates. His term as Fed chair ends in May. He remains on the Board of Governors until 2028.
Let's go. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? New customers, here's your shot. Bet just $5, and if the bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use KMOX. That's code KMOX to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Member Week is on at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off hundreds of items like appliances, home essentials, decor, and more. Perfect for your January reset. Plus, earn 5 times the points on an eligible purchase. Shop member deals in-store and online from January 8th to the 14th. Still not a member? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help, you save. Point boosters subject to exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Amazon is planning a Walmart-style big box store near Chicago. The retailer would sell groceries and general merchandise. The company has been struggling to find the right formula for in-person shopping under the Amazon brand. If approved by officials, Amazon could begin construction later this year. The Trump administration dramatically escalated its attacks on the Federal Reserve. Chair Jay Powell says the central bank has been served grand jury subpoenas from the Justice Department. This is fueling concerns over central bank autonomy in setting interest rates and triggering declines in stock index futures. And shares of Shake Shack are tumbling. The burger chain reported fourth quarter sales that came in below Wall Street expectations. The results are likely to add concerns that the fast casual eateries are set for another challenging year. Consumers have been weighed down by higher prices and weakness in the job market, so they've been eating out less. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for the FanDuel Sportsbook, which is the official sportsbook of KMOX, and of course for me too. And the final wild card matchup is tonight. And FanDuel has full-on, turned-on playoff mode. So all customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. And tonight, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. You've got the game tonight. Houston is favored at Pittsburgh, so you can go with the favorite. You can take your shot on an upset. You could build a same-game parlay with some yardage markers and points scored above or below the number. You got all kinds of ways to play. Then you just apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So you just visit FanDuel.com/Missouri, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Reminder, you must be 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. President Donald Trump says he wants a 1-year 10% cap on credit card interest rates. Hamas says it will dissolve its government in Gaza once a Palestinian Technocratic Leadership Committee takes over as part of a U.S. brokered peace plan. And the birdhouse at St. Louis Zoo getting a makeover. Officials say the facility will close in March and remain shut down for that renovation for much of 2026. Let's see if things are improving on the roads now. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, for now, Megan, there's still no change on northbound 55 at McNutt. We still have this latest incident, the stalled tractor trailer in the right lane. It's a solid jam back at Highway A on North 55. It's still a little slow between Bayless and River to Pear after that. North 270 approaching Manchester up to 64 slow. Speaking of 64, there's 3 separate crashes. The one I mentioned on the shoulder, east of Prospect, and 2 more with the right lane block before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. So the end result is eastbound 64 is a solid jam back at Highway 70. It's still slow east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. Westbound 64 Clayton Skinker to Big Bend is slow. And there's still that crash involving the tanker truck on the shoulder Eastbound 70 between Airflight and Natural Bridge, traffic is bogged down coming up the hill from Cypress. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
It'll be a pretty day today. Plenty of sunshine, a high of 53. We'll dip down to a low of 40 with a few clouds tonight. And then tomorrow, breezy and warm with clouds and some sun, a high of 61. We have sunny skies, 30 degrees downtown at the Arch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on this Monday morning. I'm Megan Lynch. The U.S. figure skating team for the 2026 Winter Olympics announced this weekend during the national championships here in St. Louis. Let's get some insight on the process and what's next for these skaters. Pauline Lee is a professor of Chinese religions and culture at St. Louis University. She is also a former Olympic figure skater. She represented Taiwan in the 1988 Olympics in women's figure skating. Professor Lee, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yes, thank you for having me.
How old were you when you were asked to skate for Taiwan?
I was 18 years old and I was about to go to college. And when I competed in January of 1988, I was 19.
Wow. How many years did you compete?
I started seriously skating when I was 8 years old. And then I retired after the Olympics. So retrospectively, only 11 years. And it accompanies me all the days of my life.
Aww. How hard was it to transition to a life without that competition?
It was very difficult. I retired, and now I'm in my second career as a professor, and I'm not yet retired at 57. So it's hard to retire. You love this sport, you do this for 6 hours a day, and to suddenly not be doing it is it's a transition for sure.
So you really understand the rigors, on the skaters. Watching it over this past week here in St. Louis, give us some of your thoughts on what you observed.
Skating has, like every sport, has changed a lot since almost 40 years ago for me. We used to have the figure eights, and there's not that anymore. It's much more athletic. They do triples and quadruples, and it was amazing to watch. It was thrilling to watch.
Are you ever jealous that those kinds of things weren't in competition when you were skating?
I have to say I'm not jealous at all. It was a totally different sport, and I watched them. I'm stunned. It was a thrill to watch, to be there ringside.
The one thing I noted this year is that the age of the skaters, especially like the men's and the women's teams, seem older than they have been maybe in some past decades. For the men, we're talking about athletes in their 20s. The same for the women, except for one of them that's making the Olympic team who's 18.
Right. Amber Glenn, who I saw for the first time live, and she is the champion right now, national champion. I understand she's 26 years old or 25 years old. So they are much older. In my time, we retired around 18 or 19. And I believe it's Michelle Kwan, the great skater Michelle Kwan from the United States, who really pushed the boundary. And she didn't retire until she was 26. And she says things like she was called Granny. I think it's great that we're pushing the boundaries and we can do this when we're older. It's a different kind of sport and a different art when you can really reflect on what you're doing. And what Alyssa Liu is doing now, I think is extremely admirable. She says, I want to do it on my terms. And that's wonderful.
I had the opportunity to interview her, and she was very open about kind of her mental process and the coaching that she has had for the mental part of the sport. Was that something that was around when you were skating?
Absolutely. Sports psychology was absolutely central. A coach's job is both to train you, help you become the best athlete you can be, and also the best performer. So I've asked sometimes, how does competing in the Olympics, how does having been a figure skater affect your life today? And it absolutely affects it centrally, because those skills, how do you perform at your best under so much pressure, with this audience of tens of thousands of people, is a skill that you can use in life every day.
What did you think about that composure as you watched the trials at Enterprise Center?
Sometimes it's skaters are as young as when Tara Lipinski won the Olympics. She was 15 years old. Amber Glenn is 25 or 26 years old. And all of us skaters from long ago and to the present time perform under a lot of pressure. And I think that it's a life skill that helps you just be in the moment, think about yourself, skate for yourself, and not be affected by the external world and the unknown external pressures. And I admire when I'm sitting there watching, and I am glad I'm not the one who needs to perform the triple in front of this audience.
So as they go forward now and prepare for the Winter Olympics, what's the plan? How do they make sure that they're at peak performance at that time?
There is a pacing. I was watching the United States Nationals just this past weekend, and it was so much fun. And I was watching how you have to hold back a little bit. You can't peak right now. The Olympics are something like 6 weeks away. And so you want to get on the national team and you want to represent your country in the Olympics. But you have to pace yourself so that you do peak exactly that day when you need to do your best performance. I think I'm imagining back to so many decades ago for myself, and you are focused on yourself. You're not focused on the end result. You're focused on, this is what I need to do. And you have a schedule for how I need to train, how even my blades, when I need to get them sharpened so that they're exactly the way I want on exactly that day for that 4-minute program.
How much do these U.S. skaters focus on the other athletes that they will be competing against in the Olympics?
I don't think that there's so much focus. I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but from my experience, you're not focused on the other competitors. You can't be. You need to focus on yourself, which is, again, a lesson in life, too. We always tell our own children, focus on yourself. I don't think they're focused on the other skaters. Their coaches might be. Their coaches might be thinking, you need to do this triple and not that triple, because I've been watching the programs from the other skaters. In order to win, you need to do this. But that's a strategy that is in the back of the head, and this is a responsibility for the coaches, for the skaters themselves. You don't watch the skaters that skate before you, because what you care about is the only thing you have control over is doing the very best you can.
Pauline, thank you so much. Really appreciate your insight this morning.
Thank you, Megan.
That is Pauline Lee, professor of Chinese religions and culture at SLU, also former Olympic figure skater representing Taiwan in the 1988 Olympics. It's 8:48.
A new season, new faces, a new direction. The road to the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals season begins at the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up, January 17th and 18th at Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village. The Cards are building for the future, and KMOX has exclusive coverage starting at 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Hear from players, alumni, and Cardinals leadership about what's ahead. Exclusive coverage of the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, it was important for my business to start strong.
Starting weak is not recommended.
But first, I needed a lot of stuff for the office.
Sounds like a shopping spree.
I just went to Staples. They have great prices on everything, like ink, toner, printers, paper, and chairs. And now you can get up to 30% off select HP printers.
Up to 30% off HP printers. Am I on a hidden camera show?
No.
Well then, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Ins 131, select models only. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our
our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
One of the big challenges for social media platforms is verifying ages to protect young users from objectionable content. Roblox is now requiring facial age checks for all users who want to chat on the platform. Let's find out more from Eliza Jacobs, Senior Director of Product Policy for Roblox. Good morning, Eliza.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Explain for our listeners how this technology will work.
Yeah, so it'll be a quick and easy facial age check. Think of it sort of like how you unlock your phone with your face these days. You'll open the app, you'll do a quick scan of your face, we'll estimate your age, and then we'll put you in the right bucket so that you're only chatting with folks that are in your peer group.
Can a child still play on the platform without doing the facial check if they or a parent disable chats?
So chat will be automatically disabled unless you complete this process. So yes, kids can still play, but they won't be able to chat anywhere on the platform until they complete this process.
And does that hold even for kids who might know whoever they're chatting with in real life?
Yeah, so for everyone, not just kids, all users on the platform will need to complete this process in order to access any kind of communication features.
So when it comes to facial recognition for minors, I'm sure a lot of parents are wondering, what about privacy and what happens with that scan or those images?
Yeah, I completely understand that. As a parent myself, I would also be concerned about that. So two things. One, this isn't facial recognition. It's just age checking. So there's no identity component of this at all. And once we get that age signal, once we estimate how old you are, we're deleting the image immediately. So we're not storing that data for any other use. And the only information we're keeping is how old that user is.
Are you worried that kids will still find a way to dupe this, to get around it, to put it in front of the face of their teenage brother or sister to get on the platform and chat?
Yeah, kids are smart and they're better at technology than most of us. So I can completely understand that concern. So a couple of things. One, we are confident that there isn't a way to trick this, like using an AI generated image or a photograph or something. So in that way, we're confident in the accuracy of the system, but also we have other systems running in the background to ensure that the person that estimated their age and is supposed to be using that account is the one using that account. So if we detect or we have any reason to believe that, as you said, someone's let their older sibling estimate on their account, we will do another check. We will intervene again.
How much is this fueled by artificial intelligence?
So this system is built using AI systems, using all the data that we can collect about how we know how old you are by your face. And we also have lots of other AI systems running in the background that are looking at all of the conversations on the platform, that are proactively reviewing all of the content that's uploaded to the platform, in addition to and in partnership with our human moderation teams and our investigation teams. So it's really a both and answer. We use both AI systems and human systems.
Over the years, what challenges has your platform faced trying to find ways to accurately verify a kid's age?
Historically, it's been so hard. I've been in online safety for a long time, and we've just never had a good way to know how old kids were, right? Like adults have IDs, they have driver's licenses or passports, but kids just don't have that. So it's so exciting now to have this technology to be able to quickly, easily, and in a privacy protecting way, know how old our users are and give them that age appropriate experience. And we're really excited to launch this globally today, and we hope other platforms follow suit.
It's my understanding that kids will be grouped based on their ages. What else will be watched or monitored, or what other safety features can parents use?
That's right. So kids will only be able to chat with other kids that are, but we also encourage parents to set up the parental controls on their kids' account. So if they open up their own Roblox account and connect their account to their kids' account, they'll have access to that full suite of parental controls. And that includes things like making more choices about who your kids can talk to more specifically. They can choose what games their kids can play. They can set screen time and spend limits. So all of those things that we as parents care about in terms of our kids' online safety and health are settings that they can control from their own phone in those parental controls.
Eliza, where can parents go to find out more?
Parents can go to roblox.com/safety center. There they'll get step-by-step instructions for how to set up parental controls, as well as how facial age check works, and lots of tips and tricks about how to talk to your kids about online safety.
That is Eliza Jacobs, Senior Director of Product Policy for Roblox, joining us this morning on KMOX. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
A big weekend for St. Louis as the city hosted a successful U.S. Figure Skating Championships, and Kirkwood native Nikki Glazer hosted the Golden Globes. Plus, will Trump's plan to ban large investors from buying homes help first-time homebuyers? It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Lynch.